Welcome to the League and Podcast. As you all know by now, the League and Podcast is powered by Modric. Make sure you head over to modric.com and take advantage of the 15% off they offer if you type in Leggett at checkout. Modric have been the main sponsor of the podcast for a while now, and their gear is a belter. So head over to the website now and take full advantage of the Leggett promo code. So before this episode starts, if you do enjoy the League Podcast and you do want to support us for just £1 a week, you can on Patreon. And with doing so, you get early access to all our episodes and an extra weekly episode of me and Jordan just chewing the fat. Thanks for the support. Nice one. Welcome to the League Sportcast. It's me, Andy Grant.
It's me, Jordan Neild.
First off, anyone watching on YouTube, before Jordan takes the piss, I apologise that I undressed.
Did you get off with it?
Did I get what?
Did you get off with it? It looks like you've been in court.
I've been working hard today, lad. Massive shout out Monterex. Massive shout out Monterex. You get 15% off if you type in Leggett at checkout. Massive shout out there. You get 20% off if you type in Leggett 20, and also Health Kick Kitchen. You get 10% on your food orders when you type in Leggett 10. Woo! Go and support the sponsors. Be nice.
Let's do it.
Happy Friday, everyone.
Yeah. End of the week.
End of the week.
Cheltenham's a bit closer.
Oh, I cannot wait for that. Where do you want to kick it off?
I reckon we'll do a bit on Cheltenham in the middle, like. Footy?
Chelsea are fucked.
Chelsea are fucked.
Can't
even sell tickets.
I was with a guy today and he's a big Chelsea fan. By the way, I put on Twitter today, feel sorry for Chelsea, you know, thinking it's obviously a joke.
Yeah.
I don't think many people got it. I had to in fact, I deleted it in the end because I thought people might actually think, well, yeah. But then I was obviously fishing. But then people were just like, my God, lads, you know, and all that.
Sorry.
Yeah. So I had to delete it. But it couldn't have happened to a better club or that though, couldn't it? And what a fan base. So gutted for them all.
Such nice people.
Made up.
They're done though, you know. You don't come back from that.
Well, the interesting thing is going to be, we said it last week, didn't we, that they can't sell tickets. Now that's actually come into effect.
Yeah.
It's just a bigger picture, isn't it? There's so many unknowns. Because I don't even think he's allowed to sell it at the minute, is he?
No, he's not. You can't do any transaction. I think they can give tickets away. Like,
what's going to be
for free?
Unfair, though, is they potentially are going to have their season ticket holders in the ground, but no one else.
I know.
So, for example, if they've got 60% of the ground full with season ticket holders, there'll be no one else on general sale, but there'll also be no away fans. Yeah. So Chelsea are going to have an advantage of just having their own fans in there.
I don't know. I can't see them not having a full ground though.
How can they do it though?
Because I think they can give them away.
They're not going to give them to the away fans though, are they?
No, yeah, I think they'd have to, wouldn't they? I don't know, but
when's their next home?
There's no way it's going to just be like back in the pandemic and just.
Well, it won't be if you're a Chelsea fan. You'd be all right.
Yeah, true, but it's.
Their next game's at the weekend's Norwich.
It's
tonight.
Yeah, they can't even get contracts out.
Yeah.
Can't renew the contract.
Well, they reckon Rudiger's gone, don't they?
Yeah, I seen Sky Sports running a story on that like it was fucking breaking news. It was
pretty obvious anyway, wasn't it?
He'd be good. He's a good player, him, no? Go somewhere.
So the problem is they can't renew contracts, so there's going to be potentially an exodus of players, and also they can't buy anyone. 3 of the sponsors have fucked them off, or they've just temporarily said, don't use our...
Just take our name away, we'll have a seat on you.
Yeah.
Nice of them. And
the problem is, though, as well, whether morally players start doubting whether they want to go to Chelsea.
Yeah, I don't reckon everybody...
Am I putting too much footballers on a pedestal?
Yeah, you're expecting too much of footy players there, lad. But I don't think the players will be a problem. I just think it'll be... I reckon the manager's a bigger problem.
I was going to say...
You're locked into a job, aren't you, that you're like...
Did you not see Tuchel? He was quite... like a passionate kind of stop asking me about this, you know, when the journalist last week.
You don't want that hanging over your head though, do you? Like,
well, that's what I mean. I'm thinking if, alright, yeah, maybe not the players wouldn't be bothered about picking up 200 grand a week.
No.
But the manager.
Yeah, it's tough for him. Because he's now just, his hands are tied, aren't he? He can't sign any players. He can't, like, no matter what, he can't win, can he? He's not going to win the league or the Champions League with that squad he's got. He can't bring anyone in. He can't get rid of players who he thinks shit.
And it's a rebuilding process in a sense, but he can't start that at all, can he?
Wonder if he can even get off though. Wonder if he can break his contract. Because the way I read it is that no transaction can go in or out of Chelsea in anything that's got Roman Abramovich's name to it. There's no business transaction that can be made. So would that mean you can't cancel a contract as well?
What the other big problem I think is for Chelsea fans is who buys them.
McGregor.
Oh, McGregor, he's a wally, isn't he?
A wally, doesn't he? Just
like, I get you want to stay relevant, mate, but come on.
He's gonna go straight for the later in the show. He's going straight to a title shot, isn't he?
McGregor is.
Straight on.
If a man can talk his way into anything, I thought I had the gift of the gab. That man just says something and he's there, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But anyway, on the Chelsea thing though, they're obviously going to get a consortium, but are they going to bankroll Chelsea as much as
no way
Roman did?
No, because he, like, as much as you can say about he's probably not morally the nicest fella, he like done a lot for Chelsea in terms of investment, isn't he? A lot of these consortiums take over, but they don't always put like cash in for like instant sort of success, do they? The way he did, he literally put everything in.
And I don't know how well of a run business Chelsea is, because you look at Liverpool and they sometimes get, FSG out and, because they run it very strict.
Yeah.
Has he been doing that? I don't know. It seems to me from an outsider he just pumps loads of cash into it. I don't know what type of successful business model they have.
I don't know. I just can't see it being as official as this though. I think someone will buy it and sort of have some sort of link to him somewhere, and then it'll find its way. Do you know what I mean?
And it'll go back
and
to
it'll
him.
find its way back somehow. I just don't think it's as cut and dry now as like Abramovich is gone. Chelsea are fucked.
Where is he? Did he not get banned from the country as well? Or like a visa ban or something on him? Or?
In a fucking island somewhere, isn't he? In fucking Vladimir.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, that's a sad.
I wouldn't like to be obviously a Chelsea player now. It's going to be hot on them, isn't it?
A bit moody for them, isn't it? And the manager then is getting linked. It was Carragher, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, to United. Fuck that. I wouldn't go to United for anything if I was a manager.
No?
No. It's poison chalice. How do you turn Man United round? They've got the worst squad I've seen. Oh, it's awful.
Here's a question for you. Do you think there is any part of Alex Ferguson who's half made up? Because the worse United get, the better he looks.
Yeah, but he is the greatest manager of all time, isn't he? It's a fact, but...
I get that, but I remember speaking to a mate of mine, I won't mention his name, but he won the Rugby World Cup, and he reckons that there was players there in the squad who, in 2003, they didn't want England to win the World Cup again.
Oh, yeah.
Because it will take it off them, do you know what I mean?
But I reckon that happens in every walk of life, people just don't say it.
Do you reckon?
100%. It's like, what's that old saying? I want you to do well, but not as good as me.
Yeah.
I reckon that's heightened even more in sport.
So do you reckon Ferguson's sitting there half made up?
Yeah. He's half the problem.
Because he's there.
Go home. He's old. How old is he now? Got to be 89 or something.
Yeah.
Just retire. Go home. He's always
do you think
there.
he still hasn't that much of a say?
Well, maybe not now. Social, I used to get him in. Wouldn't even park in his car space.
Yeah, that was a bit weird, wasn't it?
Fucking wetty.
What?
Wetty.
What's a wetty?
Don't know. I just heard it today. Pick stuff up. Fucking Instagram reels. Bring it into my vocabulary.
Yeah, I think Tuchel. Listen, if he wants a challenge, that's the place to go.
Nah, I just wouldn't do it. No way.
Mate, it's a huge club still, no matter what you think.
So many problems, though.
Yeah, but if you've got the kind of mindset to think, look, I want a challenge, then, and he's a big manager.
Still, though, I think it's going to be, honest to God, and this sounds stupid, I think it'll be 10 years before they get anywhere. You need time. The only thing that'll heal United now is time to get away from. It's similar to what Liverpool went through. Like in the 90s and stuff, do you know what I mean? It's just, it's still too close to how good they were. Like you hear Scott McTominay talking after the game, he's like, oh, we're Man United, we need to be better than this. But I used to hate when Liverpool players did that. You have to judge it on what you are now, and you're crap. Like who you are, it's just fact, isn't it? Liverpool were crap for years, and I used to hate it when everyone said, but we're Liverpool. I was like, yeah, but we were Liverpool, we're not fucking right now, we're shit. And look how long it took us to get back to the top, do you know what I mean? It takes so long. Do
you know much about that Ten Hag?
No, he just gets a link to every job, doesn't he? He doesn't get any. So he's either shit at interviews or he's just very picky.
He's getting linked to the United job. I think it's a weird one because you know when
Pochettino, I reckon.
Well, obviously with the PSG game this week, how bad's that? Did you watch the game?
Yeah. Well, I was at the Cheltenham preview night, but it was on like in the other room. I could hear all the cheers and stuff.
Like, what do they need to do to win the Champions League, PSG?
Don't know, some of the goals Madrid scored were heavy, you know.
Yeah.
Like they'd have scored them against anyone. Modric ran like 90 yards with the ball and then played one of the best passes I've ever seen in my life. Benzema done what Benzema does. Sometimes, don't know, scared me last night a bit, Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Do you know when Liverpool sometimes do them things where you think, right, we are just going to win this? It felt like something like that.
Yeah, but PSG, though, they just make me laugh. Like, what do they need to do to, like, the Messi, the Mbappe, this front three, and Neymar as well? And
just shows you though, doesn't it? It's all about the team. I know that is when footy players say, "Oh, it's all about the team." It is the most boring answer ever, but it's so true. You can have as many good individuals as you want.
Yeah,
it's just not going to work if you're not all pulling in the right direction. And Mbappe was talking about signing for Real Madrid like 6 months ago. He's never really closed the door on it, has he?
Yeah,
he's in it for himself. Messi's obviously in it for himself. Neymar was just fucking clown, isn't he? Like, there's loads of them though. They're not a team. And you can't win a tournament like that if you're not a team.
Yeah, it was mad. I'll be honest, like I say, never seen it, but it was mad. I don't know. You just assume that they're going to win it one day, and I was actually quite made up that. Mate,
Modric is a joke. 36 years.
Yeah. Is he 36?
Yeah, and he's still doing what he's doing.
I didn't really realise he was that
I remember
old.
watching him at Anfield in like 2008 or something, Spurs, and thinking he's the fucking best player I've ever seen in my life. And he's still doing it.
What did you make of Liverpool's performance?
Garbage.
They were almost as bad as your decision to fuck me off after the game and make me walk home. They were that bad.
Why have you just brought that up on here? We were having fucking good vibes then.
We're
not getting into that. We'll get on to on Patreon if you want to jump on there.
Yeah.
We'll have a real argument about it. I'm having an argument with you about that next week.
It was shut up, lads. It was frustrating.
What, the walk home or Liverpool?
Both. I don't know, again, and this sounds really spoilt, but I'm not used to going to Anfield and seeing us get beat.
No.
It's been so long since I think the last time I walked out of Anfield was 2 years ago, the Atletico Madrid game. Obviously we got knocked out then, but I think that's the last time I've seen us get beat at Anfield. We were so bad, but if we're going to have a day off, I wanted it to be there. Do you know what I mean? Because what have we got this weekend? Brighton, 12:30. Yeah.
It's not that I hate them games. We're obviously much better than Brighton, aren't we? But it's just like you have to go there and win, like just without doubt. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just nice to be back in the hat, I guess, innit?
Yeah, but when's the draw's next Friday, innit?
Yeah, next week.
I think they'll draw us against City.
I'd fancy us.
Oh, 100%. I don't think Liverpool...
You're not bringing your negative vibes this week, no?
In a cup, Liverpool...
What cup are we going to get knocked out of first?
No, I mean, like, because the other night was my prime example. You can't be at your peak all the time. So one of the games is going to land like close to a game that's more important. Do you know what I mean? And that's all I meant. But I think over 2 legs, I don't think there's a team that can beat Liverpool over 2 legs, like one-off game.
We got told last week we need to get an Evertonian on the Sportcast.
Yeah, because you just fucking bash them every week. It's between Everton and Novak Djokovic. That's all you come for.
I remember saying on the Sportcast when Everton were playing Watford and Norwich, they need to get 6 points.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're in a real relegation battle. And you said they'll be sound.
You want them to go down,
and here we, for a season or two.
Why?
Yeah. Just for a season or two.
You're a grim man, you.
Why are you so... I know loads of Reds who wouldn't... I know Everton fans who'd want Liverpool not to...
Do you know when you were a kid and you looked at Liverpool fixtures, what were the first games you looked for?
Man United.
And then what?
Everton.
There you go. Why the fuck would you not want a derby?
It's not that I don't want the derby, but...
If they go down, they're not coming back up.
I think they would.
Lad, they wouldn't.
They're too big of a club to stay
Yeah, but you
down.
only come back up with a championship squad. Everton wouldn't have that. They'd have Premier League players who'd fuck off. Then they'd be left with scrapping round. It's hard to build a championship team, you know. That's why so many of them don't fucking budge that much from them in the Prem, because they know when they go down, they've got a championship squad to come back up with. It's a hard league, that. I
just don't know, mate. I looked before we started. You know, their fixtures, everyone's saying they've got 8 home games and that's why they'll be all right.
Yeah.
That's fair enough. When you look at Everton's fixtures, right, they've got to play, if you like, out of the relegation team... Out of the teams who are threatened with relegation, they've only got to play Brentford. That is it. They're playing Wolves... they've got to play Newcastle and Brentford. Other than that, they've got Wolves, West Ham, United, Liverpool, Chelsea, Leicester. Where are you getting points from out of them?
I think
You could argue the Newcastle and the Brentford game are 6 pointers. All right, great.
there's the games like Leicester, the games you can win though, because Leicester are hot and cold, aren't they?
Yeah, but it's away. That's not even one of the home games that they're banking on. So it's Leicester away. The home games that they're banking on is against Chelsea, United.
But even Everton against United, I could envision Everton winning that sort of game.
Mate, but that's like a hope and a prayer kind of thing, isn't it?
That's the position they're in now, isn't
You're
it?
flipping a coin.
They are hoping and praying now, but I just think, I personally think Brentford will go.
Well, yeah, just on Burnley, because Burnley are the ones in there. So you look at Everton playing all those teams in the top half. Burnley have got to play Brentford, Norwich, Watford, and Newcastle.
Yeah.
So there's 4 6-pointers they've got. They've just got such a better running than Everton.
Yeah.
I think they're going down. I've said it for months.
I know you have said it. I can see now why you're saying it, but I just hope they don't. It's fucking...
You're just scared in case someone's going to fill you in one day or something going...
No, I'm not.
You're dead bitter, I want to fill you in or something. I'll be getting filled in
for me,
for being bitter, and you'll just be like...
I'll just leave you.
Yeah.
But I don't see... Like, I don't hate Everton, I hate Man United, but...
I don't hate Everton, but it just wouldn't bother me if they went down.
It would bother me. Derbies are what you fucking grew up on, lad.
I hate derbies.
No, you don't.
I'd rather go to a Man United game than I would Everton.
Yeah, but you need a derby. I agree with that. Man United at home is the biggest game of Liverpool season, but you need a derby, lad. You get bored very quick if you didn't have one. The City needs it as well. We don't need just one team, because we're not always going to be fucking good.
I think they're going down, lad. That's my final say.
Well, come on then. Novak Djokovic.
Jordan told me that I weren't allowed to mention Novak.
No, I didn't. You just said you mention him every week. It's like...
Because I think it's unfair. It's unjust.
Novak's entered this garden. You just give us a weekly update on Novak Djokovic's life.
I think it's unjust what's happened to him. Anyway, he's not going to compete in the American tournament because of his vaccination status. But now the French have turned around and said that he may be able to play in the French Open because they're about to relax the rules. So apparently, the world is at war, but COVID's gone now. Thank God. So Novak might be able to play. Play in the French Open.
See, fucking last time he got a game, he got snotted, didn't he?
Yeah, well, quarterfinals he got beat. Do you know what I told you the other week about that guy who had a bit of a rant and he started whacking his tennis racket? He's the guy, he's third in the world. He's been banned for 8 weeks.
What, for it in the umpire?
Well, he didn't hit the umpire, did he?
His chair.
Yeah.
That was the shittest fucking tantrum I've ever seen. That.
Yeah.
Where's the one of yours at? You do have bad tantrums.
Right, whatever. I'm not even getting into it with you, lad. On Patreon, if you want to see me tear Jordan a new ass, get signed up because you're getting it on that.
You will not win that argument.
Anyway, one interesting thing I thought was on in the tennis world is Andy Murray, being the good egg that he is going to donate his entire prize money for the rest of the year to the Ukrainian kind of people.
UNICEF on it.
The problem is he's not going to fucking win any money. The Ukrainian people are going to owe him money.
No.
Great gesture, but the fact he's awful and not going to win any money is probably...
It's harsh saying he's awful.
He's not awful, but he's not going to win the pure... He's not going to win the Ukrainian money.
Isn't he? 25 quid in Amazon vouchers.
You can just imagine all these poor Ukrainian people are just... Andy Murray's the great hope. He's just getting spanked every week. Got no money for you, sorry guys.
How did Andy get on today? 6-0, 6-0, 6-0. Fuck.
I mean, nice gesture from Big Andy.
Shouldn't be making jokes about war.
No, we're not. We're just making jokes about Andy Murray not being able to give anyone any money.
Fair enough.
But that's the tennis. F1.
Nearly back.
Bahrain this weekend, isn't it?
No, it's next.
Is it next weekend?
Yeah, so it's the weekend of Cheltenham.
Just
coming to the end of testing and stuff, aren't they? But
have you seen the Mercedes new, what have they called the thing on the side? It's called, I wrote it down at they've got something on the side, looks a bit different. And already it started with the whole is that legal?
Christine Horner said it was that accused Mercedes of bullying, didn't he? To get Michael Massey thrown out.
I've seen that.
So that's already bubbling away.
I thought that was a bit harsh though.
Yeah, but it's I don't know,
it was obviously a massive cock up and stuff, but he was definitely the fall guy, wasn't he, in that?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, he's been had off a little bit, but it was a bad decision, wasn't it? When you break it down to it. But talking about officials, probably Should have mentioned that in footy, shouldn't we? How bad fucking footy officials are.
Oh, horrendous.
That one who done Liverpool the other night, what was his name?
Which one?
When we played Inter Milan, he was like, I don't know, he's some European ref. He just squared up to all the players. He booked about 5 players just for speaking to him.
I know.
Still didn't get a booking bet in.
That is yeah, so the mind games have started with Mercedes and Red Bull, and I think Verstappen's turned around and said, I'm not worried, but Mercedes got this new car or something, and it's all a bit... Yeah. And it's like, is that really legal? Is it not?
That happens every year, though. It's always the little technicalities because someone brings something out late.
Yeah.
Just to throw the cat amongst the pigeons. But Haas got rid of the Russian driver as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
Nikita Mazepin.
So it's because his old man is good mates with Big Vlad, isn't he?
Chanel.
But you're fucked, aren't you? If you happen to be mates with Putin or got any kind of link with him, you're looking over your shoulder. You're checking your bank, aren't you? Every 2 minutes you're online banking to see if it's frozen or not.
Yeah. I didn't know that though. I didn't know it was because of his dad. Yeah,
his dad's got links. I think his dad's a billionaire, and
well, you've got to be, aren't you, to get your kid through to F1, like.
So his old man's a billionaire, mates with Putin, and that's why they fucked him off.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not up. I don't know. Like, obviously, you talk about Abramovich and stuff. I don't think it's right that like just Russian sort of businessmen, and I know they're not all squeaky clean, but I don't think it's right that people are now taking the fall because of what's happening. Like that, I think morally, like as a generalisation, that's wrong. But like, what do you do? I mean, his whole career's fucked now, though. He's worked his whole life to get to F1.
That's it. Yeah, you're racing your car, and just because your old man's mates with some weirdo fucking crackpot, that's you fucked.
Definitely sat down and said, "When fucking hell, cheers, that prick." But they brought it.
You funded me whole life this far, but now you fucked it.
Brought in Kevin Magnussen, who was driving for them before they hired him. So Haas is shit anyway. But I'm just saying, like, it's just a bit harsh, innit, getting rid of someone because of probably his dad's links. But you know, how squeaky clean can you be if you mate with Vladimir Putin?
The other thing on that is the FIA have turned around and they've basically give Russian drivers like almost like a checklist of things you can and can't do because you're Russian. Yeah. So like you can't, make any statements about this. You can't say that. You can't do that. Like, and it does feel like you say. I do agree with you. It is harsh to think that any Russian athlete, sportsman, is just getting absolutely lambasted just because their leader happens to be.
I reckon that's what war is now, though. Like, I don't think war's normal. I know there is obviously gunfights, isn't he? But I think that's how it's played out now. It's like economic moves, isn't it? Rather than, physical fucking fighting. It's like how many moves can sort of the rest of like the West play on Russia in order to get them to be like, right, they're fucking up our whole.
All these sportsmen though getting sanctions. How arsed is Putin about that though?
He takes sport dead serious though, doesn't he?
I know, but when the poor lads from Haas gets fucked off, and he goes, Dad, come on, I've just been fucked off. Does that message get back to Putin?
But maybe that doesn't. But I'm sure, like they've banned the rights, haven't they? Like the Premier League have banned the rights for Russian TV to show the Premier League. It's not. I don't think it's one act that'll get his attention. But then collectively things just keep happening.
Just imagine Putin this weekend, and he's got his few mates, and they're all like, all right, Vlad, what are you up to this weekend?
Lad, we're a bit busy.
No, but honestly, Vlad's going, all right, lad, you watching the Man City game at the weekend? No, can I, lad? It's all been cancelled. Has it? Yeah, it's cancelled, lad. Why is that? Well,
because of you not better.
You started bombing that country, didn't you? Oh shit, yeah. Anyway, ta-da. Phone rings again. All right, lad. How's your lad doing, lad? He's got Bahrain this weekend, hasn't he? No, he's been fucked off, mate. Has he? Yeah, thought he was doing all right tonight. Fun. No, you started bombing, plate. Okay. How are we getting on in the Winter Olympics? I'm not in there either. He's not taking those phone calls every week,
no,
is he?
He's not, but it's like, as I said, it's the collective of like ostracising Russia, isn't it? So they're now becoming they're not involved in sort of any part of the world of sport, and I think eventually that starts to impact on economics, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And I think
it is unfortunate. I am joking, but it is unfortunate.
It is wrong, like, I mean, it's hard, isn't it? Because what's morally right and what's like the correct thing to do in a sporting sense, because we've said on the Sportcast loads of times, sport is your escape from the fucking normal world, innit? Yeah. And then now you're crossing the lines of because something's happening politically, we're now taking a stance in the sport. Where'd you stop?
Yeah, I know.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's the other big thing, because Arsenal got warned of being hypocritical, didn't they, by the Turkish lad? What was his name? Ozil.
Yeah.
Because he was asking them for help when there was some problem with Germany and Turkey, I think, or something. Or
But that's it. But it's like, you know, look where the World Cup is. Do you know what I mean?
God, I know, yeah.
And like, if you want to kick up a fuss, then why don't we kick up a fuss about that? But again, it's not on our doorstep, so we won't. But like, that's the thing. Where do you stop? Eventually, nobody's going to be able to do anything because you've had some sort of link to somebody who's doing something wrong, and it's a fucking dangerous hamster wheel, isn't it?
Yeah, big time.
But again, yeah, it is shit because it's just impacting everything. Like you're saying about Novak, I'm not saying Nikita Mazepin would have won the F1 championship, but you are damaging the integrity of every sporting event, aren't you? Because Russia historically have had good athletes in pretty much every sport, and now they're taken out. So it's just negative and shit, isn't it?
What do you want to touch on Cheltenham?
Yeah, it's hard because at time of record we've not really got any declarations, have we? I mean, we're gonna have a fucking hell of a week, like, but
we're going to do a little on the Patreon. We done it last week, so we didn't want to talk about gambling on the Sportscast because some people obviously have got problems with gambling. So we did put our tips up on the Patreon page. We did do well on that. I won't go into too much, but we've done all right. If you do want betting tips, get on the Patreon. And next week we'll also do a little Cheltenham,
daily little
tips and stuff, little blog on it. And then we will be taking it on the road. There'll be a few.
Can't wait for that.
There'll be a few little vlogs coming out next week of our Thursday, Friday at Cheltenham, Saturday at the UFC. So
yeah, the only thing with Cheltenham, it's hard because you don't really know until Monday where sort of everyone's starting to go, and then as the week progresses. But yeah, I think obviously Patreon's the place for that.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can find a few winners in the notoriously hard 4 days that Cheltenham is. But yeah, I can't wait to get down there. Like,
how did the Cheltenham preview night go?
Brilliant, you know.
A lot of fans of the podcast were there.
Yeah, good few. 122 people, I think, in the end.
Boss.
$3,000 raised for charity, which is boss. And there was a lot of pissed people, like a few pissed on the panel, me half and that. But they threw up a load of horses. Obviously they're all deep in the world of horse racing. So yeah, it's one of them. It's like, hopefully we can find a few winners. But
yeah, just keep updated on Patreon, and we'll put the little tips up for that. UFC last weekend.
Modric Covington. Shit, wasn't it?
Boring, yeah. I just want to say to him what it was boring.
But we said that last week. Said he wrestled.
You did say, you just said he'd wrestle him all over the show.
But he should have finished it, Colby. Like he had multiple chances to finish it, I thought, especially when he's got so much top control and he's just fucking throwing him elbows down. I thought. So you see in the fourth when Masvidal dropped Covington, he had nothing left to follow up with.
I know, seeing that. I was screaming at the telly.
He was a sitting duck. But I just don't think Colby's got that in him. He just hasn't got the finishing. That's why he'll always fall short at the very, very top. Because he's a brilliant wrestler. You know, his cardio is insane. Like, he looks as fresh in the fourth as he did in the first. But he just hasn't got, as much as his character is like a nasty heel, he hasn't got the nasty streak, do you know what I mean, to fully finish fights.
Yeah, I thought he was a dickhead at the end as well.
He is a dickhead though. But he's not. He isn't. But the character he plays, you know, we've been over it on the Sportcast loads of times, he was getting cut. Because he was, so his style, what he's got now, that's all he used to be. So he would be like stacked away on the early prelims because he's bored as fuck to watch. And the UFC just said, you're doing nothing for us. This is your last fight, and it was in Brazil. And that's when he started saying Brazil, you're a dump and all that stuff. He fucking ran out of Brazil, and then he turned heel.
So he mentions about Poirier's kid.
Yeah, saying it's
McGregor's.
I don't know who he said it was, but yeah,
he mentioned McGregor, didn't he?
Did. Yeah, but basically his story is that McGregor's been slotting Poirier's wife, but then he said the kid's not Dustin's either, which is a bit. For me, it's just
making it sound like the wrestling or something like WWE.
I understand playing a character because look where he is now. Do you know what I mean? He's at the top of the division, but there's certain lines in there that you just don't fucking cross, and some things you say and you can never take them back, and that's probably one of them. I think when you grow up and sort of, you know, his kids or whatever have to watch that, it's just embarrassing, innit? You couldn't get to the top on your athletic ability alone, so you had to become a cunt.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
That is essentially it. Yeah.
So like, I think. But I can't see that fight happening, to be honest. I hope Hamzat, absolute Bond villain, I hope he beats Gilbert Burns, and then they put Covington in with Hamzat, because that'll, you know, because Hamzat can wrestle just as well as Covington can, and hopefully he'll just bust his face in and we can all smile. But yeah, it's UFC London next week as well, isn't it?
Yeah, before that, though, we mentioned before McGregor, he's putting his boxing gloves on, doing his Instagram post saying, yeah, I'm great again.
What Dana said, though, is probably right, because Makhachev, who's coming through, he's going to have another fight. If Oliveira beats Gaethje, then you get to July and Oliveira wants to go again, or maybe a bit later. He's going to have had enough defences to pretty much call a shot and say, you know, I want this, do you know what I mean? And that's what Dana was saying. He was saying if Charles Oliveira comes to me and goes, I want to fight Conor McGregor, people are going to buy it. It's going to sell out in less than a minute. You know, whatever you say about McGregor, people still want to see him.
Yeah,
they always will, do you know what I mean? He's the biggest star that UFC has ever created and ever will create.
He's the one that got me into UFC. And he just makes me laugh, though, the way he's just so not relevant at the moment, yet he's still... No, he's not. Look at it, we're talking about him now.
Exactly, but yeah, he's McGregor, though, isn't he? Transcended the sport and just always will.
What else happened on the UFC? I only tuned into the main fight.
To be honest, it was a bit of a shit card, to be honest. It wasn't great, yeah, but... Marina Rodriguez, who we mentioned last week, who we put up on Patreon as a little insight to people who aren't on there, she won, and I think she's probably going to go on to a title. But there's a boss card this weekend in the middle of, obviously, this in London, but I'm just hoping London stays together in terms of like the main event, Russian, innit? Alexander Volkov.
Yeah, have they said about what he's
No, but it's getting a bit late now, so you're sort of hoping no news is good news sort of thing. You know, Big Tom's doing sort of like interviews and stuff, and they're talking about him, so he'd probably know before we would. Yeah, he's the outsider though, which is surprised me.
Tom is.
Yeah, and I think like obviously Paddy is on there. Paddy looks like he's on the main card. Molly, but they've all luckily haven't got opponents that are going to be affected by it. But if we lose the main event, it's a bit of a it's shit, you know what I mean? So I'm just hoping over the next week or so we don't lose that main event, because it's such a good fight. Yeah. But yeah, this weekend you got good card, to be honest. I mean, you laughed at me last time when I said this fella's name is Song Yadong. He's one of someone that I'm keeping an eye on at bantamweight. Really good fighter. He's in the co-main. The main event is Magomed Ankalaev, who interestingly got pictured with the people who have allegedly been given the job of wiping out the Ukrainian president. So Vladimir Putin's obviously given it to these.
What the fuck?
Yeah. So there's like a picture of him shaking hand with these people. It was only on like social media, like years ago or whatever. You know what I mean? Like he's been introduced to them or whatever. And apparently these are like the team that have been
like just a hitman.
Yeah, not
gangster hitman.
No, but I think they are like government, whatever they might be. But it's just funny, people are saying like, if you want to know how dangerous Ankalaev, just look at the people he's fucking hanging around with. But I think it was literally a chance meeting like years ago or whatever, do you know what I mean? But yeah, he's a bad dude, like light heavyweight, fighting Thiago Santos. He's he'll be the champ, I reckon, by the end of the year, light heavyweight, like. Yeah. Scary dude.
We heard it on Darren Till. I see him always
grappling with Hamzat, isn't he?
But nothing else.
No, he's not ready to come back. He had two busted knees, didn't he? Completely blown out. So, I think he only wants to come. He got 4-fight deal again.
Another 4-fight deal.
Yeah. So, I think he only wants to come back when he's ready.
Do you think he's one of them who's got that 4-fight deal on the back of his personality rather than his performance?
Pretty much, because he hasn't shown much lately. But again, a fit Darren Till is such a fucking good inclusion in the middleweight division. To be honest, I think he's stuck between like 170 and 185. He needs he needs a division in the middle. You know what I mean? Like he's up at middleweight, he just gives too much away. He's no longer the big, strong, and obviously he just can't make welterweight safely. But yeah, I think he'd be getting beat up by Hamzat and his team. Not because he's like any worse than them, just because they train in a different way. Do you know what I mean? They, like, none of them drink alcohol. They don't like. It's not the party lifestyle that comes with being a celebrity in Liverpool and England. So he's just over there in the trenches, just getting filled in probably. But probably the best thing for him. I'm glad to see him doing it, because I honestly thought after he got choked out by Derek Brunson that he'd have fucked it off. But it's probably good for him that you've got the rise of people like Paddy and.
It takes a bit of the pressure off him, doesn't it?
You got Tom Aspinall now's headline, and Arnold Allen in the co-main, Molly, Paddy. You've now got a load of sort of English talent where, not to disrespect any of the English talent that we're knocking about, it went from Bisping a few years where we have fucking nothing really, and then Till was like this new killer coming through. Do you know what I mean? Now you can sort of share the load a little bit. You'll probably see that next week in the O2. I'm sure when Paddy and the likes come out, it's going to be bouncing. You know what I mean?
The news that come out this week as well with Leon Edwards in the summer.
Yeah, Kamara Usman.
That could be a fight, that.
Yeah, but they fought once when they were first got in the UFC, and Usman beat him. But
that's only Edwards' loss, isn't it?
Yeah, but as Usman said, he said once I beat him, he went away, got better, and like he's a killer now, and he is. But like, I don't know what it is about Kamara Usman, but at this moment in time, he looks unbeatable. But I reckon the person that beats him is going to have to be so well rounded that they can box with him, they can wrestle with him. Do you know what I mean? And I think Leon can do all them things. It's just whether he can get on top in them things as well. It's such a hard, but he's an elite fighter, Leon. Like he doesn't talk much, he doesn't sell many fights, but he is an elite fighter.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So that's a great fight, International Fight Week. But
more importantly than that, it's around your 30th, and it's in Vegas.
Making plans. I've also got a kid on the way, but yeah, we are making some plans. I'm telling you. But you're only 30 once, aren't you?
Exactly.
Getting old.
You got 3 kids, lad, that'd be sound, don't worry.
3 kids? Fucking hell, it's another podcast, isn't it? But, yeah. But this weekend, I said Ankalaev's out. Terence McKinney, who I spoke about, might have been last week or the week before, who's eventually going to fight Paddy. He went and got a first round submission win against Ziam. And the UFC have won, boss fight, do you want to fight again on this card? Bang, he's straight back out, straight on the main card. So, I mean, lightweight, where Paddy Pimblett is one probably...
It's full of killers.
It's like... It might be one of the best divisions the UFC have ever had in terms of, like, depth of talent. And Terence McKinney looks like, a fighter that the UFC have identified as being... Because he holds the fastest record, doesn't he, when he come out and he got the knockout in 7 seconds, and then, like... He's gone then, and he's done a knockout, and then he's got a sub. Now he's fighting Drew Dober, who I don't know if Drew Dober's ranked. He definitely was ranked, but he's definitely close to the top 15. So he looks like someone the UFC have got hold of and gone, right, we can run with you. Let's push it as far as we can. But yeah, I think this is a really good, really, really good card. I think there's, as I said, Song Yadong in the co-main event. I think he's a class act.
So fucking child.
He's a class act. Ankalaev's a class act. And keep an eye out for Terence McKinney, because one day you're going to see him fight Paddy Pimblett.
Boxing wise, what do we have? We had the news this week that in Catterall's fight, the judge has been downgraded from an A star to an A.
You'd have fucking hoped for that in school, wouldn't you?
What the fuck is that, eh?
I know.
I think that was a moment for them to make a stance and really do something. And they've said, oh, not quite A star now, A.
They said in a statement what he didn't affect the outcome of the fight. So for me, that's basically saying that a judge doesn't have an impact on the outcome of a fight, so what's the point in having a judge?
But it was a split decision, so he did.
Yeah, he directly...
His decision went either way.
Exactly, yeah, but so whoever's wrote up that statement must have been just like... I reckon Robert Smith got home and just said to his wife, look, we need to get something out here, can you just draft something up with this fucking post-it? She's like, what happened? Said, this ref was just a bit crap. All right, love, bang, get it out. That's what I think it is. It doesn't even make sense. They contradict themselves from one paragraph to the next. So he's now no longer an A-star referee.
I've seen as well that the police are investigating it.
Yeah, but I think that's all for show, lad. What's the police going to do?
It did make me cringe a bit when an MP got up in Parliament and was like, oh, we shouldn't... Yeah. What the fuck's the MP going to do?
It's boxing that needs to look at itself. You don't want to be getting more corrupt people involved. You know what I mean? Like, we've got enough of them. Let's just leave it there. But I mean, Jack's got... The best he can hope for is probably a vacant title shot, because Taylor's not.
Taylor said he'd fight him at catchweight though, didn't he? Without any titles.
Yeah, he doesn't. It's not the point, is it?
No.
You're just dragging Jack Catterall to a weight that he's comfortable in just to beat you. He's beat you before. You might as well just let Josh move on and then fight for one of the vacant titles. But it doesn't make any difference about how ruined boxing is.
Yeah.
Just highlighted it even more. And then obviously we go to this weekend. You've got another one. It's like Lee Wood and Michael Conlan. Lee Wood's obviously backed by Eddie. Michael Conlan's coming in from Top Rank. You can't tell me that's not on his mind. Do you know what I mean? Thinking, what have I got to do to win here? Like, this whole thing might turn out better for fans in terms of, I think fighters are now going to get they're not going to come in with things like, I'll just box him. I'm a better boxer, I'll win over 12 rounds. I think a lot of boxers are going to probably go, right, and there's one way to win now, and it's to make sure that they don't have any sort of say. Do you know what I mean? So hopefully it makes for better fights, but yeah, I think this weekend is a quality fight.
Where are we this weekend?
Nottingham. But I've always been mad on Michael Conlon, because obviously he was an unbelievable amateur, flipped the bird at the old Olympics, didn't he, when he got cheated. But then he turned over and he headlined Madison Square Garden, like the smaller room, in his debut, walked out with McGregor. And he's like 16-0 now, but he was quite impacted by the pandemic. And then obviously he's now got a chance to fight for a world title, well, a regular world title, so it's not really, well, that's just another fucking story. Let's not get involved in belts now as well. But he's got a chance to become a world champion in name, and I think he'll do it, to be honest. I've quite torn, because back in the days when I was like interviewing fighters and stuff, Lee Wood was one who gave me loads of time, and he was really proper sound fella. But I don't know, just something about Michael Conlon just seems to be. I think he'll get better against better fighters, which is what Lee Wood is, and I think he'll he'll win this weekend. But obviously he's going to have to upset not only the judges, Eddie, home Nottingham crowd where Lee Wood's from. He's got it up against them. Do you know what I mean?
We shouldn't be talking about stuff like that. It's a fight. I know you can talk about the impact on, but fans maybe have a sway. But it's unfortunate that.
But that's what boxing is now. Do you know what I mean? You have got to weigh all these things up, and that's what I'm saying about Michael Conlon. There'd be no way you'll be thinking, right, I was an elite amateur. I'm a better boxer than Lee Wood is. So if I box him every round, I win the world title. There's no way you'd be thinking like that. You'd be stupid to. Because, again, it's like, it's all stacked in Lee Wood's favour, isn't it? Whether we like to admit it or not.
What's all this news with? I see a lot of the I can never say it.
Probellum.
Probellum.
No problem for you, innit?
There's going to be loads. Like, there seems to be loads of...
Yeah, so I think they've just announced a deal with Eurosport, which I've got to be honest, I didn't even know Eurosport was still going.
No.
It was like an old school like channel, isn't it? But I mean, it's sort of a massive channel. I posted to you. I need to find out where. Yeah, so you got Probellum on Eurosport, Wasserman, like we spoke last week, on Channel 5, Frank Warden on BT, Matchroom on DAZN, and Boxing on Sky. So it's good for boxing. But Probellum are like, you know, they're sort of headed out to Dubai, aren't they? Like that's where the front, like their head office and stuff is. And they've signed, you know, a load of good fighters, Jazza, the McGrails, you know, they've got Pat McCormack, Luke McCormack, got some really good fighters. So Sonny Edwards, I think they've definitely got enough in the talent pool to be putting on shows, but it's just how you drive people to Eurosport, isn't it? Are they gonna? Do
you have to pay for that, do you?
No, I think it's free, but again, it's like me and I didn't even know it was still going. So they're gonna have a bit of a job of. It's a very, obviously it's an established channel, isn't it? But they're gonna have to put, I imagine, a lot of money in to shoulder programming and, you know, letting us know the fighters, so that you're actively going to find Eurosport, because it's like we were saying last week, the benefit of being on Channel 5 or, you know, when ITV were in, people end up flicking and going, fucking hell, boxing tonight. I haven't watched boxing in years. I'll have a watch. Do you know what I mean? No one lands on Eurosport unless you're looking for the Al dodgy ones, like
in a hotel room.
What channel's Babe Station? So Eurosport's one before Babe Station. But
then you have that weird thing where you're in the mood, you're feeling horny, but then you end up just watching boxing and you're like, feels a bit wrong.
Watching fucking skiing. Like, that fucking eyes got him. But yeah, I think Probellum, they're making good moves though, so hopefully. But it's more boxing on TV, innit? And that's the main thing for fans. But good. Thomas Whittaker Hart, Scousers on this card this weekend. Yeah, he's had a bit of a bad time, I think.
Has he?
Had a rotunda. Yeah, he's had injuries and turned over from obviously the GB squad, but has only managed to have 5 fights. But I think he was ill for a bit, and then not ill as in like had a cold. I think he was genuinely ill, and then had the injuries. Back by Bellew, isn't he? So, you know, hopefully he can get back on the.
See him in the gym all the time. Yeah, it's know he was fighting this weekend.
Hopefully he can get sort of back on the horse sort of thing. But yeah, another like sort of prospect, Kevin Ajaho, who I spoke about on here. He's from Belfast. He's one of the best fighters, you know, coming up at the moment. And he's fighting against Juan Carlos Rubio, who's 18-1. So Kevin's 10-0. Juan Carlos Rubio's 18-1, which is a bit of a. It might end up being a bit of a padded record, but It's definitely a competitive fight. I think keep an eye out for that. You got Gary Cully fighting Miguel Vasquez, who's a former world champion. So yeah, you've got some good fights, but I just think the main event is a belter, and I've got a bit of a big fancy in it. I think decent price. So
good stuff.
Yeah,
good stuff. Anything else, lad? You want to finish on?
No, it's been a weird week, hasn't it?
Yeah.
You've been working.
Feel a bit out of touch in sport this week, but it's like the calm before the storm. Next week's going to be a belter.
So we got, fucking hell, you got Cheltenham, F1 starting, Champions League draw, Liverpool carrying on again to the fucking keep winning.
The FA Cup.
The FA Cup. Next week's Sportcast is going to be heavy. It'll be about 2 hours.
I know. Anything else, man?
Done it all? Got the main man in the room today.
Got our producer in the room, our top secret producer.
How long have we done? As long as we hit 50. Well, 40, between 40 and 50.
That's right, 48. Boom.
You got your fix.
Ladies and gents, thanks very much for listening. Thanks for supporting. Again, if you do like mine and Jordan's banter,
or arguments
or disagreements, you can join us every Wednesday on Patreon. We do a little special show. They've been good fun, haven't they, to be fair?
Well, yeah, just a bit.
They've been really good. They've been brilliant, to be honest. I've absolutely loved it.
They're a bit dark, like they can get a bit weird.
But it's good fun, and if you do like your fix, then please come and support us and have a boss weekend.
Thank you.